let's start talking about 10-2. So we're still talking about circles. Number 2, or lesson 2, is talking about angles and arcs. Okay, so we're talking about angles of a circle and the arcs. What an arc is, if we're looking at this, looking with me, see it? This right here, the outside of an angle, that's what an arc is. So this right here is an arc. That's one arc. How many arcs do you see in the circle?
3.
There are 3. That's the first one. From here to here is the second. And then the third arc is from here to here. So we have 3 arcs going on. All of these arcs are made from central angles. Write central right here in the blank. Central angle. They're made from central angles. Here's what a central angle is. It means that from the very middle of your circle, so this angle right here, angle 1, is a central angle because it's in the middle of the circle and both of its sides are radii. That's what makes it a central angle. Comes from the middle, both of its sides are radii. Okay? How many degrees are in the whole inside of the circle? 360. So this circle has a sum of 360 degrees. So in example 1, knowing that there's 360 degrees in a circle, you want to find the missing piece. So this arc, or this central angle, takes up how many degrees? 130. How many does this one take up? 90. So how can I figure out what's left? 360 minus what? 130 and 90. Subtract those and tell me what's left in the first one. Then do the second one and the third one. So we're doing examples 1, 2, and 3. Grace, what'd you get for number 1? Good. 140 degrees. That was the answer for number 1. Armando, what'd you get for 2? Good. 50 degrees. Because you just subtract 165 and 145 from 360. Start with 360 and subtract what you know. Okay, Misty, what'd you get for the third one? 145. Good. 145. What does this square always mean? 90. Okay? Those are not bad, right? Good examples. Okay, so also, those are talking about angles. We're going to talk about what we talked about in the beginning, which is an arc. An arc is a portion of the circle on the outside. There's 3 types of arcs. 3 types. Ready? You have a minor arc, a major arc, and a semicircle. Major, minor, and semicircle. A minor arc, minor, 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 means that it's less than 180. So if it's smaller than a half, then it's a minor. If it's smaller than a half. So this arc right here, from here to here, do you see this? This is an arc, and here's how we name it. We name it by saying AB, but you put an arc over it. It's called arc AB. Arc AB. major arc is anything that's greater than 180. So the major arc right here goes from A to D to B. So this is your major arc. See how it's greater than 180? It's greater than half the circle. So here's the thing. Are y'all listening? In order to name a major arc, you have to list 3 points. Because here's why. If I would have said find the arc of AB, isn't this right here the arc of AB? But if I say find the measure of arc ADB, then that's a major. So this arc is called ADB. It has 3 because it's a major. It doesn't matter, but like if you start with B, there's only two ways for this one. It's either ADB or BDA. You can't start here and then go to B and A. You have to start on one of the endpoints and go all the way through it. Okay? Now, so there's major, minor, or semicircle. So semicircle means it goes straight through the diameter. So you have 2 semicircles here. How can I name one of them? AB. So technically, that'd be this side, right? That's the arc AB. How would I name this side? ADB. Right? I could name it saying arc ADB because it goes all the way around. Y'all following me? Major, minor, or semicircle. And the way you name them is important. Okay, so in example 2, it says that GJ is a diameter. So from here to here is a diameter of, what's the symbol mean? Circle K. Identify each of these 2 as a major, minor, or semicircle. So look at GH. Start at G and draw around to H. Well, first of all, how did I know that I had to go from here to here and not all the way around? If it was going to be a major, it has to have how many letters? 3. So I'd have to go G, L, H. But since I just went from G to H, this is the arc GH. Is it major, minor, or semicircle? Good. Leave a blank because we're not done. Minor and then a blank. Now the second one says to find GLH. So start at G, go to L, and then keep going all the way around till H. G to L to H. So that's this whole circle. This whole, is it greater than half? So it has to be a major. Good. Okay, now there's a piece of the instructions that we left off. It says to find its measure. You can actually find the degree of the outside of the circle. And here's how. If this central angle right here, this goes with the first arc, right? Goes with arc GH. However many degrees this is, the outside is the same thing. So if this angle is 122 degrees, the outside arc is how many degrees? 122. So when it says find its measure, that's what it means. What's the measure of that arc? It's 122 degrees. Yes?
Okay, for the major, why wouldn't it be G, L, and J?
Why wouldn't it be what?
I thought the second one, I thought it was a section, but they didn't have the J in it.
That's okay. You only have to have 3. You don't have to name it G, L, J, H. You just name it 3. But where you start and where you end is important. So because it says G to L all the way to H, it's a major. If it was a semicircle, it would have had to stop at G, L, J. Okay? So here's the problem. We're missing these 2, right? Well, how many degrees is a circle? And this whole arc right here, this whole arc is everything except for what we already know. So can't we just find the measure of this arc by taking the whole thing and subtracting that arc? 360 minus 122, which is what? 238 degrees. Before I let you start A, B, and C, you're going to tell me whether those are major, minor, or semicircle, and then find the measure. Let's look at this circle. There are two central angles that are missing. If the whole circle is 360 degrees, what's half of that? So look at this. If I cover half, it tells me that PM is the diameter. So this is exactly half. So if I cover this half has to equal how many degrees? And if that's 90, what does this one have to be? And if I cover this half, and that's 115, how do I find this piece? Minus 115. Yep. Which is 65. Okay? So now I'm going to give you a few minutes. I want you to do A, B, and C. I want you to tell me major, minor, semicircle, and what's its major. So there's two answers for each one of these problems. Sometimes it has two. It depends. All right, tell me what you got. Christian, what'd you get for A?
65.
And what kind of arc is it? Good. Because it's just MQ, so M to Q. Right here is a minor, it's less than half, and 65 degrees. Okay, Tariq, you want to do B?
Major.
Do what?
Major.
From M to N to P. Doesn't that cross the diameter? M to N to P. So it's a semicircle, yep. And how many degrees is always a semicircle? Class?
180.
180. Good. So that one was a tad bit tricky because how many letters were there? 3. So some of you wanted to assume it was a major. But was it a major? No, it's just it was a semi. Okay, M to N to Q. M to N all the way around to Q. What kind of arc is that? Major. And didn't it cover everything except for the 65 degrees? So to find its measure, I would have done 360 minus 65, which is how many degrees? 295. Okay, flip to the back. Okay, for the sake of time, we're going to skip to where it says example 6. Okay, we'll get to the other part tomorrow. Example 6. Find the length of this measure, or this arc. Now, hear me out. Are y'all listening? Because this is new. There's a difference between the measure and the length. The measure is a degree. So if you want to put measure, I always want your measure. When it says find the measure, that's a degree. But when it says find the length, it's talking about the arc length. Which means, I don't want to know how many degrees it is. I want you to tell me, if I had to walk from here to here, how many inches would that be? That's what that means. Okay? This is your formula that you have to use. The L stands for length. Y'all looking? Y'all with me? The L stands for the length. X is the degree. X is the degree of the arc. And R stands for, what do you think? Radius. R stands for the radius. So, if we want to find the measure of the arc of ZY, I'm sorry, not the measure, but the length. The measure is the degrees. I want to find the length from here to here. So you're going to take this formula. Ready? L equals, write this down, X divided by 360 times 2 pi r. X is the degree of this angle. So if we're finding the arc of ZY, I need to take the angle that's inside. So how many degrees are inside? So 75 takes place of the X. 75 divided by 360 times 2 pi. What's your radius? So you need to plug that whole thing in your calculator. It's very important, though, you put your parentheses around 75 divided by 360. And close that parenthesis. Close the parenthesis. It should look like this. Did you get that? Down here, you have to press your yellow first. You have to press shift and then pop. Okay, because let me show you what happens if you don't press your parentheses. Watch this. I'm just going to type it in. 75 divided by 360 times 2 pi 4. Oh, well, I got the same thing. Never mind. Okay, good. Okay, good. It says to round it to the nearest hundredth. So where should I round my answer to? 5.24. Now, we just found the length, and that's important, but I need to know that what's this the length in what unit? Inches. Your answer's not complete till you have your inches. 5.24 inches. Can you try the example number 2? Let's see. Try example number 2. I'm used to my clear button being like that. Where's your pi button? Yeah, do the third one too.
You put like parentheses and then a 6.
I guess you'll just have to
Put parentheses.
2 pi 6. Yeah. Well, you can just press enter. I think that'll work.
Yeah, I messed it up.
Did y'all get 7.89? 7.85 what? Inches. Do number 3 once you're done. Okay, you might have to do the same thing, Dylan. Press 75 divided by 360.
Now you have to do with the kind of
Okay. Equals. Two times 2.
5/24.
What was your degrees for the number 3?
130.
130 was your degree, right? Times, okay, hey, some of y'all, I hope y'all caught this. What did they give you?
They gave you the diameter.
They gave you the diameter. What's the radius? Yes. Yes, don't let that trick you. 10 was the diameter, so the radius has to be 5. So 130 divided by 360 times 2 pi times 5 should have been 31.42. What? Oh, okay, hold on. 130 divided by 360 times 2 pi 5. I'm sorry. 11.34 what? Centimeters. Good. I'm going to hand out some practice, and then we'll come back to the top half tomorrow.
It ain't showing me.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna stop this.